My name is Evan Vernon, and I'm with Animation for Adults.
Hi, Evan.
Hello.
Pleased to meet you, Jennifer and Tim. Want to thank you both for your time today. Tim, if you don't mind, I'll start with you. As those who've watched the series know, Love, Death, and Robots is an anthology. And not only that, but an anthology that's framed very much around mature subject matter and adult themes. So what attracts you to that style of filmmaking? I understand the series was kind of your brainchild.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, as an adult, I generally tend towards adult-like things. Now, I think even when I was a kid, I liked adult things. I like gritty, realistic, but fantastic stories, and I've always been drawn to that sort of storytelling. And for years in the animation industry, anyway, it was so difficult to do that. And when Final Fantasy came out, I'm like, oh shit, that was our big shot, and it didn't do well, and it was really expensive. They'll never let us try again. But luckily, the squirrels came back to the woods, and we get to do things like Love, Death, and Robots. And then there's a lot of other great adult animation out there now. So I think that slowly it's coming around.
Yeah. Would you say that there's maybe a bit of nostalgia with it? If I'm not mistaken, I think you cited heavy metal as kind of an inspiration when the series was conceived.
Well, it's certainly nostalgia for me because I love that stuff, and then you get sidetracked by life into doing other things. So coming back to it feels like coming back to my roots anyway. But luckily, there's a lot of people that feel similar about that. It's just a kindred spirit right here.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Tim. And Jennifer, again, pleasure to have you with us as well. You bring a wealth of experience to the show. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the second volume you've worked on. You have a strong background in family animation, and Love, Death, and Robot is really kind of a big 180 from that. Have you found that liberating in some way? I'd imagine you have a lot less restriction.
Yes, it's absolutely liberating. I started off on Spawn, which was when people were trying to foray into adult animation way back in the day. And that was my last series. My second series is this one. In between, I did family features, which was great. But my personal sensibility is adult animation. I grew up on anime. I never saw any limitations to the storytelling. And the frustration is that the animation industry in the US is mainly a family, or has been mainly a family entertainment area. And that's great, but that's a limitation. And as artists, you don't want limitations.
So you sold out, basically, is what you're saying in the middle years of your career. I think the Kung Fu Panda movies, okay, it's for a younger audience, but those fucking action scenes are awesome. I don't think you have to be a kid to like that.
I try to squeeze as much of that into
It's pretty good.
traumatizing the kids.
No, that's an astute observation. And we haven't seen your short. You were supervising director, but also directed your own short.
Wait till you do. You will be traumatized.
Yeah, well, I will look forward to seeing it, and maybe kind of that overlap with Kung Fu Panda, right? We're down
no
to
overlap. It's polar opposite.
There's no overlap at all.
Yeah. Sorry.
I know we just have about 1 minute left here, but I'll end with one question for both of you. What excites you the most about Volume 3?
There's amazing, beautiful art that took even longer to cook this time. So we have David Fincher, who did his animation debut. We have the return of Alberto Mielgo with Hibaro, and we have the return of 3 robots. So those are characters people can see again.
I think seeing David take his mastery of filmmaking to this new genre is going to be pretty spectacular for fans. I mean, he's a great director, and you can see that despite the medium, he does a great job with this piece of content. It's horrible, as you would expect, but beautiful at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you both. Tim, Jennifer, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations. And we look forward to seeing the show this Friday on Netflix. Appreciate your time.
Thanks. You too. Take care.
You too. Thank you. My name's Evan Vernon, and I'm with Animation for Adults. Alberto, first of all, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on this amazing film. Well, hop right in, I guess. Tell us about Jabaro. It's your second film for the Love, Death, and Robots series, but where did the story come from? What inspired it?
Well, both characters are very much myself in a way, both the girl and the guy. And it's very much a story about some sort of like what it can be a most toxic relationship that you can imagine between two predators. Very much the main inspiration, I could say, even though this kind of like came a little bit later. I don't know if you ever saw these videos of a crocodile fighting against a jaguar, and they're basically hunting each other for food. Sometimes the crocodile wins, sometimes it's the jaguar, but many times they end up both injured and very badly hurt. So that's very much what this film is about. It's not so much about hearing, it's about listening. You know, it's about ignoring all the red flags that they're being shown, and doesn't matter. You keep following it and going for whatever you desire. And in terms of the two characters, yes, both are myself because, you know, when I am the one that perhaps goes for things that, you know, for the person that maybe doesn't treat me that well, or for the person that doesn't even hear me or what I have to say, I am also the person that perhaps goes for something that is beautiful, and I don't care perhaps what the other person have to say. And I am the person that goes for things that there's like obvious red flags everywhere, and doesn't matter, you go and do it. So I feel very close and identify with both characters.
Yeah, interesting. I love how you kind of identify this this sensory disconnect between Jabaro and the siren, how one can't speak and the other can't hear, and that kind of like seals their mutual destruction. The way that you make the film, Alberto, is very interesting. Like The Witness, Jabaro is very action driven. There's no dialogue in this film. Just really this kind of deadly dance, or even kind of ballet, I guess, or action ballet between the two. Can you tell us why you felt that form of storytelling was appropriate to this film?
Well, it kind of like happened organically. At first, I was just thinking about doing some sort of like a little bit more normal way of storytelling. But then I realized that using dance, it will be very interesting, because I feel that dancers, they have a way of communicate feelings that perhaps we need words, but perhaps dancers, they are able to tell you without words. I've been always fascinated by dance, and I'm not a dancer, horrible dancer, by the way, but I'm always fascinated by body mechanics in general as an animator. So I wanted to explore some sort of like a ballet, where, because the subject is so perhaps abstract, you know, talking about a toxic relationship, you can actually phrase it and you can word it, but I feel that explain it through dance, it was way more poetic and perhaps more impactful than if we actually have words explaining the whole thing.
Yeah, it lends itself to different interpretations, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Alberto. I know we're coming up close on time, but last question I'll ask is, what excites you most about Volume 3, just broadly?
Um, well, the most exciting thing for me generally on Love, Death, and Robots is that every time that we release it, we open a new episode on adult animation. And adult animation maybe doesn't sound right. Let's is more into like cinema generally. Animation for adults, it's been happening forever, but not in the mainstream as we actually brought it in Love, Death, and Robots. So I am very excited to actually show to people what we can do with this art, and very excited to see obviously the reaction, because I think that this third season especially is, you know, extremely strong, not only in terms of the look, like I think that the stories are like really sophisticated, and it's, you know, they are short, so it's difficult to tell short stories, but I think in this case we nail it. So I'm very excited to see the reaction of
Yeah.
the people.
Thank you so much, Alberto. You said it in your Oscar speech that animation is cinema, and you convey that quite beautifully through this film. So appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing the show this Friday. But congrats, Alberto. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Nice to see you again, by the way.
You too. Bye-bye.